Hello everyone. Today let's discuss about Cambridge International AS and A-Level Computer Science 2021 May-June 9618 Paper 12. Here let's discuss about the first question. It says Raj owns houses that other people rent from him. He has a database that stores these days about the people who rent houses and the houses they rent. The database House Renters has the following structure. There are three tables: customer table, primary key is customer ID, and there are some other attributes. House table, primary key is house ID, and there are some other attributes. Rental table also the same. Rental ID is the primary key, and there are some other attributes. So here customer ID and house ID are foreign keys. It's because customer ID is the primary key of customer table that is mentioned in rental table as an attribute. So it's become a foreign key. House ID also the same. House ID is the primary key of house table and then that is becoming an attribute in rental table. So it's become a foreign key. So we can say when one table's primary key is mentioned in another table as a part of the primary key or as just normal attribute, that becomes a foreign key. Now let's go to part A. View the definition of the following database terms using an example from the database house rentals for each definition. The term, the first one given is field. Actually, when we say a field, that is talking about an attribute in a table. So any attribute you can provide a primary key, foreign key, or any other normal attribute as the example. Here the description, small description, and one example is required. Entity. Entity is anything that data can be stored about. You can say a customer, a house, like that. Foreign key. A field in one table that is linked to a primary key in another table. So we can say there are two foreign keys. You can mention any of these: customer ID or house ID. Like this. Now let's go to the next part, part B. It says tick one box to identify whether the database house rentals is in third normal form, 3NF, or not in 3NF. Justify your choice using one or more examples from the database house rentals. This is in 3NF. And when a table is in third normal form, first it should be in the second normal form, and then it should not have any transitive dependencies. That means it should not have any non-key dependencies. Here you can justify like this. All fields in all tables are dependent fully on the primary key and on no other fields. So you can provide examples like this. For example, all fields in customer table are fully depend on customer ID. If we go to part C, first analyze the data given in the table as examples. Example data from the table rental are shown. Here rental ID, customer ID, house ID, monthly cost, deposit ID are given. When you go through this, you can see rental ID, customer ID are integer type values. Then house ID is different, that is containing mix of details, so it should be voucher. Monthly cost, that is containing fractional values, therefore we can use real or currency data types for this. Since it is a database, we can use currency data type. The deposit paid, that is yes or no values, therefore we can use boolean data type. Now here no need to write the full DDS statement, you have to fill in the blanks. Here when you are creating a table, the command is create table, name of the table given in capital letters rental, so here also it should be capital letters rental. Then house ID, we can see clearly that is voucher. Monthly cost, Since currency is available in databases, we can say currency. And rental ID, what is the primary key of this? You can clearly see that is in the game description, that is rental ID. So primary key, rental ID. Let's go to second part. Write a data manipulation language DML script to return the first name and last name of all customers who have not paid their deposit. Here we can say select what we need to print, first name, last name. We have to take the two tables, customer and rental table, for this join. So from customer rental, where deposit paid, that should be not. So deposit paid equals to no. Why we are using no without using not? Because here it's mentioned it's using yes no values. That's why deposit paid equals to no. And when it's come to boolean, do not provide any single or double quotation. For any other word, when you are using in a select query, you should provide single or double quotes. The last part, you have to join these two tables. Then in the where condition, we have provide deposit paid equals to no. Then join it like this, and rental tables customer ID equals to customer tables customer ID, and at the end the semicolon should be provided. Even though we have divided these sections, you should understand this is one query, one statement. That's why at the end we provide the semicolon. That's all for today. See you in the next video.